Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for coming down to our session. I personally thought that we got really lucky with this time slot right after the lunch, so you guys are not hungry anymore. But now we'll need to make sure you don't fall asleep. So let me first introduce myself. My name is Timur Dusibayev. I'm an Android developer with Yandex, and here's my colleague Ildar Karimov. He's been involved in the development of some serious products at our company, so he's like the top geek.
You're also a lecturer, right, in St. Petersburg?
Yeah, Ildar also gives some.
He gives some lectures.
Yeah, we have this IT university in St. Petersburg, which is the home of one of the greatest programmers in Russia. So Ildar lectures there.
And there's more information about the bio, the vita of both speakers in the website. So if you want. Can you hear me?
So yeah, let me go back to the topic. So we're going to talk about Android app stores today. We're going to discuss why very few of them are successful. We will try to explain why developers still need to publish their apps into different app stores. And we'll talk about coping with the complexity and with the difficulties that you will definitely face when publishing to multiple app stores. So I know that developers generally are very skeptical about new app stores on Android. Every new store is generally labeled as yet another app store. And I have to admit that for the most part they are right. It's just yet another app store. And if we take away if we take aside the quality of the app, which should be exceptional, and of the service overall, there are, I think, two reasons why they fail. I don't like the word fail, but I still use it. The first reason alternative app stores fail is they are alternative. Well, thank you, Captain, you say, but seriously, most of the app stores are trying to be an alternative to the main established store on the phone. There are cases when you need to go and download the application store to start downloading other apps. I mean, you can't be serious with this, right? And this is bad for both the developers and the users. From the user's perspective, you have two application stores on your phone. You got used to the first one. I mean, this is the main store you download apps from. And you got the second, which you need to register in. And I mean, I wouldn't do that. Why would I do this? And the same problem is for the developers, because as a developer, you don't get new audience. This is the very same person who bought the phone, and he's just got two stores. So no new audience for you, the very same. And no. And so the app store maker needs to make sure that his store is the only store on the phone. So go to device manufacturers, talk with the mobile operators, do whatever you like, but make sure it's the only store on the phone. And that brings us to the other problem. It's the lack of ecosystem. I mean, having just an app store is not enough to be successful. You can't just take your app store and come to a handset manufacturer and say, hey, pre-install my phone, my store. It's not going to work. You need to have something unique, whether it's a set of services or unique content, whatever it is, but ecosystem needs to be there to be successful. So once again, App Store done properly. Don't try to be an alternative to the App Store. Be the only App Store on the phone. Be the only entry point for users to download app, buy apps and stuff. And make sure you do this with your own ecosystem, because it's not going to work with the store alone. You need to give some value besides the store. Luckily for us, there are very few successful cases. I mean, one of the most popular alternative app store is Amazon store. These guys, they ship the store along with Kindle Fire and Kindle Fire HD devices. Like I said, they are the only app on their tablets, and they have their unique ecosystem. They have their content, books, magazines, videos, music, whatever, they have it. And to date, Kindle Fire and Kindle Fire HD is the most successful Android tablet. They sold, I think, over 7 million. So, next. So we at Yandex, we take mobile very seriously. And several weeks ago, we announced Yandex Store, our own Android application store, and we truly believe that we have the power and strength to make it successful. Well, why do you think so? I mean, there are 20-something stores already. Why do you think your app store is going to be successful? Well, first, we already have the ecosystem. We have a pretty strong set of services. It's starting from search, maps, mail, cloud storage, own user interface, music, taxi, MapKit API. Next. And to add more, I mean, this is all convenient. You know, this is very convenient. But the problem is, who are you to talk like that? And it turned out that there are only 6 globally recognized companies that do search technologies, because it's a really hard task. And Yandex is one of them. And I'm telling this not to show off. I'm telling this because we're really serious about it, and we really want to make our store strong. So okay, but what would be the reasons for you guys to publish to alternate app store? Because well, okay, there are app stores. Some of them are successful. You just listed 2. Why should we publish? Well, I'm not saying you should go and, I mean, you should rush and start publishing your application to App Store. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is give it a try. Why not? There are at least several reasons for that. The first one, like I said, you can extend your existing audience. So it's going to be totally different audience, not intersecting with your existing user base. The second one, if you sell applications, you can increase your revenue. And the third thing is you can try different billing options across different app stores. Let's say you have a successful application in Google Play with a very high rating of 4.5 stars, and you want to make a paid app. Well, if you do that, you're most likely going to screw your rating. So you might want to go to another store, established, like popular store, and try to publish your application there. So it's a good thing to experiment with. Well, it's all great. So should we publish? Is it easy? Well, unfortunately, it's not that easy. It's a pain, and building for multiple app stores is like building for multiple ecosystems. I see the guy who's over there. He said that he experienced some problems building for alternate app stores. So there are problems. I mean, different app stores is different mobile ecosystems. So it's different billing API, different push API, different maps API. So it's really hard. And moreover, you may want to have different billing options. I mean, you want to have a paid app, you want to have in-app purchase, you want to have subscription. All that adds to complexity, and it's going to be a real pain to maintain your code. So we have a small demo with my colleague Ildar, who's going to show you how to overcome the difficulties that will arise if you decide to build for multiple app stores. So Ildar, please go ahead.
Thank you, Timur. So when we are talking about building our app, we should remember about 3 steps. The first step is making several builds, several APKs to publish to every app store. The next step is implementing your billing code, especially when we are talking about new billing options, or if we are talking about new app store, we should add some billing support to it. And the last step, but still very useful, and I show some examples, is customizing projects that are ready to publish. So multiple stores is multiple APKs. What does it mean and how should we build multiple APKs? Well, you can use just some pre-processing tools, yes. You can write your custom build scripts and so on to change your sources at the build time, at the compile time. But we have a much better option that is even built right to our Android SDK. This tool is called library projects. Yes, library projects are usually used for making some reusable application code, some components that we can plug into our whole application. But we can try to use another approach. We just take the whole application, convert it to library project to library, and reuse it as the base for our multiple projects, multiple models. So how do we start? How do we use it? In this case, 90% of the code, or even 99%, just goes to the library. This code is the same in all our projects, in all our main projects for every store. All the licensing and billing and so on code just goes to every main project. Main project is something that is based on the library project, yeah. And for native code, yes, most games are written in the native. Much easier in this case. We just use some defines, and the native developer should definitely know what is defined. The only thing that is not handled by library projects automatically is resources that we usually store in assets folder for games. But I can say that this is very huge problem. We just need to write down a little piece of code that will copy our resources during build time, but we will have great control over levels, for example, that goes to the free version, and levels that will go only to the full paid version. So we have done our application and we are ready to publish. But there are still some small things that we can improve in our application using our application as library approach. Okay, first thing to try is application name. If we are building full version of application and light version of application, or some freemium and so on, we can just add some word to our name. For example, light or pro. It will be easier for user to see and for you to see build application, to see application name in developer console, and so on. Next step, application icon. Using the same mechanism, you just can tweak your application icon to match target store guidelines. So just make something like rounded corners, yes? Another thing you can add is just a small tiny banner with, for example, Pro or Lite. So to make your app easily distinguishable, to distinguish your application versions. Application configuration. For using in analytics and so on, you can just tweak your configuration parameter tweak some application ID in your resources to easy distinguish two apps. And the last is package name. You guys might know, and I think many of you know, the change in application name, the change in package name in some major project is a huge pain. But using this approach, you can easily change package name for your target application, for the main application. This might be very useful if you want to try different monetization options within one app store. So this approach is very useful not only for making apps for multiple app stores, but this will be useful if you want to create two versions of your application for the one store, for the existing store, for example, for Play. So my English might not be very premium, yes. So when making demo for this session, we have created special English learning app. On this slide, you can see that we have changed application icon, Amazon App Store on the left and Google Play on the right, and changed application name, so we can easily distinguish them. Of course, we have changed all the billing code, but it is not visible on the screenshot. I'll show you some demo later. So how do we get started? What do we need to do to separate our application and billing code? So basically we have 3 points, 3 extension points we need to change in our applications. The first thing is manifest. You guys all know what is it. The second thing is code. All we need to change in application Java and maybe native too. And the last thing, as I've just shown on the example, is resources. Resources are very useful for application customization too. So, Android manifest. What could we change in it? The first thing is package name, like I told you, yes. The next thing, and the most important and the most useful, is actual application class implementation. I'll show a bit more later. We should not forget about full qualified domain names, because package used in library and in the end projects will be different. So we must use fully qualified domain name for all the application components. And the last thing, we just add to manifest permissions and other components we need to implement our billing. So let's start with some example. Here you can see manifest for Amazon version of our demo application. So please note that we have a separate package name in our manifest. We have a special application class implementation here. We have a common activity that will be used both in Amazon version and Play version. And we have a special receiver that is required for implementing Amazon billing. So let's take a look at Google Play version. Here we get another changed manifest package name. We have different application class implementation. We have that common my library, my activity, and we have a couple of receiver, service, and permission. We need to use Google Play billing. So, what to write in the code? Yes, actually, this is pretty simple. We just take our library, yes, our main library, which handles all the common code, and declare some library application that extends Android application class. Here we add all the billing code that we will need to implement or override in future. Yeah, that's simple. So here's Amazon version. In Amazon version, we just extend library application and implement purchase method. We just call some Amazon API. For Google Play version, we have pretty much the same code, just another. So we just call the billing service, just usual Google Play billing service. The next step, the latest step we need to do is to declare our application class, our concrete implementation, every implementation in our manifest. So Play application and Amazon application, and we are ready to go. Here you can see one small line of code, but this code is very important and extremely useful for making application customization. You can see that we call purchase method on the library application, but regardless of the place where we invoke this code, it will be invoked on the application class declared in the manifest. So we can change application behavior just changing one line in manifest without even changing our code. This is a key point for handling with all the difficulties. So, couple of words about resources. As I said, it's very easy to change your application name, your application icon, or some special strings inside your application using resources overlay. This is very simple, very simple example, but we can see that in the library we have just generic name English, yes, or maybe we should call English learning. For Amazon version we just add English Amazon, and for Play, English for Play. So I think that it's time for some short demo. I'll try to show you what do we have and how could we do it. So here, guys, you can see that we have three modules: Amazon, Library, and Play. Yeah. Let's take a look at manifest in Amazon. So here is a common activity that is used both in Play version and in Amazon version. almost unchanged. The custom component that is used only in Amazon version is a special receiver, that lives in support library for Amazon billing. And that's all. We don't have any special code in this manifest. Yes. When we look at our generic activity that handles all the operation, yes, you can see that it lives in library, and it does not have any special billing support in it. So when you click on the button, oh, sorry guys, got to start the actual demo. Let's see. Okay, here's Amazon version. Yes, just a simple English learning application. Let's try to unlock advanced level, to pay some money. So we have bought it, and you see that the level got unlocked. So very simple. There is no special thing. So as you can see, we just call purchase on our application, and the Android will call this method on actual application class that is declared in our manifest. Here it's Amazon code. We can, for example, take Google Play version. Let's see, and try to unlock advanced level. So you can see that here we have Play application class implementation. So that's pretty simple and easy. So let's take a look at our application class that handles all the things. There's just a few lines all about the billing. So we have some code about subscriptions, yes. We have some code about in-app purchases. Entitlement is just non-consumable in-app purchase. And we have some method to make actual purchase. I can show a bit, but there's too much code, and I think that it's just a boilerplate code. You are not interested to see it right now.
Okay, thank you, Ildar. Thank you very much for the presentation, for the live demo. Okay, guys, I think we've shown you some of the incentives that you may have to publish to multiple app stores, and Ildar has just shown, let's say, yeah, he's a good demo. He's shown a way to manage your code that's going to be a little bit less painful that it would be without the library project. So we're actually currently working on the demo. We're working on polishing it, and we're going to push it to GitHub, to this repository. Now it's empty, but we're going to publish it very soon. So if you're interested, you can take a shot of this. It's going to be on the next slide as well. We thought about this. So I think I ran out of my American accent, so the Q&A is going to be with Russian accent. So if you guys have any questions, please go ahead.
Okay, I'll get you the mic.
Hi.
Hi.
I chatted with your team yesterday
Yes.
about, I'm quite excited about the Yandex App Store. We're trying to break into Russia, so it's a really good thing for us. My question is, are you working with the network operators in Russia and the handset manufacturers so that your App Store is pre-installed on Android devices?
Yeah, like I said, we will definitely start in Russia because it's our home market, and we have friends there, and it's very comfortable for us. We're going to start there, and we already have 3 device vendors and 1 mobile operator, which is Megaphone, Russia's second largest operator, and we expect that the Yandex store is going to be the marketplace on Megaphone devices. Yes. So we currently have only 1 carrier in Russia, but like I said, we're not even launched yet. It's going to be available in 2 months. So I think it's good. It's a good start.
So will the devices have the Google Play Store and the Yandex side by side?
No, it's going to be Yandex store alone. So like I said, this is the point, to make store the only store on the phone. Otherwise, I think it's destined to failure.
Thank you for that question. Any other questions? Yep.
Hi.
Oh,
Will your
yeah, we
will
met
your
today.
market support operator billing or only credit card?
It will support operator billing. This is a very important thing because in countries like Russia, people are still not comfortable with credit cards. I mean, most of the people they're looking forward, they're willing to pay, but the thing is that they're just not comfortable with credit card. You need to give them the other billing opportunity. So that's what we're working on. We will do operator billing. Yes.
Okay, and my second question is, if I will publish a paid application on your Yandex store, it will be managed by user account or by device?
Can you repeat the question? I didn't get
If
it.
I will publish a paid application on your Yandex store, the application will be managed by user account or by device?
So you probably want to know whether it will be possible to install it on multiple devices with one account, right?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, we are thinking that it will be like the Google Play because it's convenient, so it will be managed by account, not by device.
And do you also have a licensing service for this, for paid applications?
We have not yet released all the APIs yet, but we are currently working on the whole set of APIs. You need to create your application or port from existing, for example, Google Play version. So yes, we are definitely thinking about all the services and all the APIs you developers need.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Here.
Here in the front, sorry.
I don't know if I missed it, but how large is the user base of Yandex, and what are the demographics? I mean, how many are Russian-speaking and how many are non-Russian-speaking? English-speaking, better to ask.
Well, generally, if we speak about the audience of Yandex as a search engine, I think it was 52 million unique users a day. That's. I mean, I don't possess a lot of figures, so that's what I can give you now.
Okay, and in terms of language, I mean, would it be then feasible to translate our apps into Russian language before we put it in? Or?
We're thinking global. I have to admit that we're doing small steps towards going global. It's not that easy, but we have this in plans. Yes, but Yandex is Yandex is operating mostly in the ex-Soviet Union, and a year ago we launched in Turkey. This was the first country outside of warm, own ex-Soviet Union market. So it's, I mean, totally different culture, different language. We worked a lot we prepared a lot before launching in Turkey, and we got 1% of market share in 1 year in Turkey, and I think this is a great success. So, coming back to your question, we will be global, so no need to translate it into Russian. But I generally would recommend we will be having 8 million Android phones by the next year. So
In Russia?
In Russia, yes. So, dude, I was speaking American accent again.
That's, I think everybody can understand you well. More questions? There's a question here.
So you showed how to use the library projects for the customization, for small customizations, which is pretty cool. But what if, for example, you have an application like mine, which is based on Google Maps? Then most of your application evolves around that. So how do you, if you have any tips for that, or? I'm aware that it's more like an architecture question, but.
Yes, that's a good question. Actually, Timur mentioned a bit about when we talked about complexity, that when we are making application for different ecosystems, we have to handle not only billing, yes, but there's a lot of other small, not so small, but not visible on the first sight parts, like for example maps, yes. So building an application that that using map and can live in different ecosystems is just a bit harder. But fortunately, if we are talking about Amazon, yes, Amazon is launching its own Maps API. It's currently in beta, and it only by invites. But they are definitely thinking about it, and they promise, and they have some short sample how to convert your application to the Amazon App Store. And if we are speaking about Yandex Store, we also have a special tool. It's called MapKit. It was mentioned on one of the slides. Yes, it's currently working mostly in Russia, but we are definitely thinking about making it globally worldwide. So I think that we can talk a bit more about it offline. Just come to our booth, our stand.
Okay. Any more urgent questions?
Over
Yeah.
over there. Over there. Yeah.
What's going to be revenue share in your market?
Oh, it's the classical 70-30.
Okay, clear. So you are not planning to reduce it?
Pardon me?
You are not planning to reduce it to have yet another
Well,
competitive advantage?
Personally, I would give you 100, really.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay, I think we should conclude with questions. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for the questions.
Thanks for coming down.
Anybody from the audience planning to